Welcome back to Talking Story. My name is John Minton, and we've made it through half a year, guys. And I'm no different than every other booktuber out there. I got a list of what I thought hit me right here and right here in the first half of 2023. So let's take a look at what I think my best reads of 2023 are so far for the first half of the year. Cue the theme music. We don't have theme music. Best reads 2023 so far, jazz hands. Okay, so here we go. These are in no particular order, and I'm counting a trilogy because I read all three books so far this year, and I couldn't just list all three of them separately, and they kind of all go together. You'll see what I mean when I list them. So I got no rules here. These are just my best reads for the first half of the year. So coming in at number one, I've got The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. It is no shock Grady Hendrix makes my list. I love Grady Hendrix. He is a walking encyclopedia of horror literature and movies, TV. If it's horror, he knows it. He puts so many Easter eggs in his stuff, flashbacks to stuff that have come before him. He knows just where he is on the artistic horror timeline, and he milks it for all it's worth. And it always has a great heart by the end of the story. And all I'm going to tell you about this book is they ain't nothing tougher. They ain't no bloodsucker tougher, y'all, than a southern mama bear looking out for her cubs. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of Texas came out there. Pick up Grady Hendrix if you've not read him before. Start with Horror Store, which is his first book. But for my money, I read at the beginning of the year. Absolutely makes my list. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. The second read, and here's where I break rules, guys, because this is a full trilogy. It's not a book. Mistborn Era 1 by Brandon Sanderson. I have been trying to catch up with the Cosmere this year, and in the first 6 months, I read one of these books each consecutively for 3 months, and I could not pick a favorite book. It's so well constructed, this amazing tapestry, every single thread that weaves through it loops back around and pays off. There's none left dangling. The structure of it is magnificent. The characters, the love story at the heart of it, the philosophy of the questioning of faith and how that pays off at the end. I absolutely adored this trilogy. If I ever do put, and I will eventually, my top 10 fantasy lists series, this would absolutely make that list for me. So happy to have found Brandon Sanderson. Read number 3. This isn't a trilogy, but it's 2 parts. I'm talking about Nice House on the Lake, Volume 1 and 2 by James Tynion. Now, this is a comic, and I believe each of these trades would encompass 6 issues of the comic. This is some cosmic horror mystery. Everyone's kind of, this guy's favorite people are brought to an island for a weekend getaway, and what they find out is he's spared them from the apocalypse, and he is not quite human. And some of these people have been friends with him since high school for like decades, and I find out he's not human, has never been human, has been observing the human race and picking his favorites to bring to this sanctuary so that they can be studied and watched. It is such an interesting, cool, locked door mystery type of cosmic horror blender. I just absolutely loved it. I don't know the name of the artist off the top of my head, which is a crime because he's absolutely excellent at catching the atmosphere. I'm sure in editing, the editing gods are gonna fix my mistake and put it right down here because he was phenomenal along with James Tynion's words. The next top read I had was Jade Shards by Fonda Lee. This was my first 5-star review on the channel, guys. I have not read Greenbone Saga. I have bought the first book. It sits on my TBR. And I thought, this is supposed to be like some prequel short stories. I can get into it and see. I mean, I know Petrick told me I wasn't supposed to read these, but I got an early advanced reader copy of this and I couldn't say no to it. I had to read it and I was blown away, guys. I can't wait to get into the Greenbone saga. The way she operates on 3 different levels, you know, one, just the human drama of what's happening that we can all attach to. The next of this, the pressures of being in a crime family that weigh on people. And then the last one is, you know, being these fantastical supernatural warriors using Jade. I mean, each one of these, the top part, and even some of the middle part, I didn't have all the answers, and I didn't quite know these characters as I should have to really get everything out of these stories that I should have. But even all and still having said that, I was so blown away by the humanity of these stories and the real life situations of these characters and how they find themselves in family drama. I was just completely smitten. And before this year is up, I believe some of the Greenbone Saga books will be on my list at the end of the year because there's no way I'm not jumping into that series. My next best read from the first half of the year has to be Dark Age by Pierce Brown. I have been catching up on the Red Rising series as well. I've done 1 book a month for 5 months, getting ready for Lightbringer that's coming out later this month. And wow, what an overall artist journey, guys. From where Pierce Brown started in this first book to where he is now, the breadth and the sweep of this operatic. I mean, there's a reason why they call it space opera. It's operatic in scope. It's a Shakespearean tragedy. And the genius that I feel now, I think this might be a hot take because people love them some Darrow, and Darrow can do no wrong, right? The genius of Pierce Brown in this book is if you took Lysander and Darrow and you flipped them. Darrow did everything Lysander did in this book. Lysander did everything Darrow did in this book. People would go, oh my God, you know, what a hero Darrow is. And Lysander went way too far. He's such a, I just love to hate him. It's amazing. It's amazing what he's been able to do. So I just love this. It's 2 guys running in parallel, answering to their own conscience as best as they possibly can. And on top of all that, I do think this could possibly be as strong of an unflinching look at warfare and combat as like Dalton Trumbull or Kurt Vonnegut. It would be up there for me. It's just absolutely has become a stunning series, guys. And I can't wait for Lightbringer later in the month. My next top read for the top half of 2023 has to be The Ferryman by Justin Cronin. I just did a full-scale review of this. It's such a great sci-fi read in that way that he holds the cards close to his vest, maybe a ooch too long, but there's so much more going on. By the time you get to the big reveals, you'll be begging for that blue or red pill to show you what's really happening. Such a great, great social mirror held up for our times. Great character work. The main character, Proctor Bennett, I just connected with so well. James Cronin has just become one of my go-to favorites. I loved his vampire trilogy. I love this new book as well. I can't wait to see what he does next. If you're a lover of sci-fi, if you're a lover of genre fiction at all, if you're a lover of just good character work, The Ferryman by Justin Cronin, pick it up absolutely. And to round out the top half of 2023, I just got an advanced reading copy and did a full review of Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I absolutely had a great time with this book. She does such a great job of creating a world that is our own, but it's a little bit exotic because it's Mexico City, and she mines the culture just right for their superstitions and their ancient past, and it gives such a great fertile ground for where magical realism to start happen. And it is the best villain you love to hate that I've seen in such a long time. She lays out the stage and then she opens this yawning rabbit hole for her characters to obsessively fall down. And it is a great horror thrill ride from page 1 till the end. pick it up if you ever like a horror read. Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. There you go. So if you count, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's 10 books. Just 5 of them are grouped together. But so far, my reading has just skyrocketed, taken off, because I've been a part of this booktube community and been getting recommendations from just the fun fantasy books and Bryce at Shelf Centered and Josh at Red Fury Book and Mike at Mike's Book Reviews and Library of a Viking, and I could go on and on and on and on, guys. I really apologize for anyone that I'm missing, but it has made such a difference in my life to get story back into my life again and to have such great recommendations and suggestions to catch up on. So to all my other booktubers, thank you so much. I'll see you at the end of the year. We'll see how many of these carry over and how many new reads I add. Thanks again for joining Talking Story. My name is John Minton. Like and subscribe. Hit me up with your best read so far.